the way in which we've gone to war. I've stood in this city many times on peace platforms and argued against nuclear weapons, and I continue to argue against nuclear weapons because I believe we should take the opportunity in 2016 of fulfilling our obligations under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty and not renew the Trident nuclear missile system, and instead make our contribution to developing a nuclear-free world. But wars, the wars in Iraq, the wars in Libya, wars in Afghanistan, all have victims. Soldiers who die, whatever uniform they're wearing, civilians who lose their homes, refugees who have to flee. And one war often leads to another, to another, to another. There are many causes of the dreadful conflict that's going on in Syria at the present time, not all unrelated to some of what's been happening in Iraq. And there are many people that are desperate refugees, either living in Lebanon or in Jordan or in other places. The whole numbers of refugees around the world as a conflict, as a result of conflict, is greater than has ever been in the history of this planet. So it's no good calling the victims of those wars, some of whom end up in Calais, insect swarms and things like that. Can't we instead have a decent UN-led humanitarian and human approach to this issue so that we actually recognise we're all made secure if everybody else is made secure around the world? None of these things are easy and none of these things are simple. But if we continue with the grotesque levels of inequality across the globe, then the refugee crisis is going to get worse, not better. Yeah. And we have to be understanding enough, mature enough to recognise that, and recognise, therefore, we've got to look at our trade policies, our aid policies, as well as all of our overseas policies to try to ensure that people are not forced to flee because of human rights violations, not forced to flee because of wars, some of which we've been an active participant in, some of which we've been a less active participant in, but have happily sold arms to those dictators that have abused human rights in the first place. And so there are huge challenges facing our party. At one level, this is a campaign about the leadership of the party. But at another level, it's about politics within our society. Our campaign is about ideas, it is about bringing people in, and I'm proud of the 13,000 volunteers that have already signed up as part of this campaign. Whatever the result in September, we're going to carry on. We're going to be together. We're going to be pushing those policy ideas. Whatever the result, we're going to be looking for much greater democracy within our movement. Whatever the results, I think we recognise that politics has got to change. Only half of young people that were eligible to vote voted in the last election. Many others stayed at home. Others, who naturally one would expect to vote Labour, went off and voted for other people because they didn't see us offering a clear enough alternative. Can we end the politics of personal abuse? Can we end the politics of absurdity that goes with that? And whilst I understand many people have said very many unkind things about our campaign over the last few weeks, we resolutely and absolutely do not respond to any of them. We don't do that kind of politics. We don't indulge in it. We're more interested in bringing people in and promoting those opportunities that are in life. We walk in the shadow of those that were brave enough to found our movement, those that were brave enough to found trade unions when the going was tough. Therefore, we have to now defend the great gains we made in the NHS, in welfare, in trade union rights, and recognise that the attack that's now been made today on trade union rights, tomorrow on human rights, the day after that, I don't know what. We know what the agenda is. So our party and our movement has got to be strong enough to stand up for the principles that we all believe in, strong enough to promote a different kind of Britain, a different kind of society, where everybody matters and everybody matters to everybody else, and we don't pass by on the other side. Stand up for those principles. We will be a much stronger movement as a result of that. Already there are nearly 600,000 people involved in the Labour Party election process. Let's make sure after September those that are supporters become members. Those members are active members. Those members are able to contribute to a policy debate and a policy change, so that we can say with unity and excitement, we are able to promote an alternative. You are all part of that process and that change. You are all able to live in a much better, more decent society, rather than the grotesque levels of inequality, the grotesque appeal to individualism at the expense of the rest of the community, which is all the Tories can ever offer. If all we can do is ape that, we go nowhere. If we offer something real as a real alternative, proud of our principles, we certainly go a lot of good places, but together. Thank you very much.